Hi, you're listening to Everyday Superpower, a place where you can take some time to learn to understand the benefits of being able to read body language and nonverbal communication. How you're going to be able to detect deceit, attraction, and generally be able to communicate better and read the minds of others, as well as understand the signals that you put out into the world without even being consciously aware of it. It's incredibly beneficial, and not many people know about it. I think there's a reason why this information isn't pushed, okay? So if you want to learn a real superpower, I recommend you click subscribe, as I do heaps and heaps of lessons, and if you want to have a look through my catalogue, we're building a nice foundation of information. Hope to hear from you. Click subscribe. Thank you. Okay, so today's lesson is going to be based on a behaviour you may see quite regular. Okay, it's not an uncommon behaviour. This body language is called arms akimbo, alright? It's when the hands are on the hips. Okay, you can look at it as a Superman or a Superwoman stance, perhaps. It's in the image you see straight ahead, okay, on the video. Right, so the hands are placed atop both of the hips and the elbows are flared out. Okay, so I'll let you have a moment to consider how we can deem the elbows in this position, if you want to have a think. So the elbows can be looked at as weapons, alright? The elbows are sharp, prominent, and quiet, just purely quite intimidating in this position, alright? So the language is expansive, which means it's territorial. It's a territorial behaviour. Why is it a territorial behaviour? Because it's taking up more space, okay? So the individual flares up and takes up space to show you who's the boss, or perhaps express aggression in a possible indirect way, possibly a frontal sort of direct manner, dependent on the situation and the context, okay? It's a very dominant display. Another reason why it can be deemed as dominant, because not only is it expansive, but if you have a look at the trunk of the body, so the chest and the stomach, is completely exposed. So the individual is not scared of a potential threat or predator because their internal organs are on display to the world, okay? So the person doing this behaviour, and it's more than likely going to be unconscious, so the person does not actually take into context what they're doing or why they're doing it. It's showing a territorial, dominant display to whomever they may be talking to or communicating with, and exposing the fact that they are not defensive and not scared of any potential attack to the extremities, alright? You're going to see it like the photo with the head up and the neck exposed, which also shows dominance and a lack of fear, alright? So you'll see this regular with leadership and authoritarian positions, such as the boss coming in, police officers do it, and house owners as well, people who own property, who are within the property, who feel like they're the king of the property, and people who perhaps own businesses in the area, and you go in to talk to them and they feel like you might not necessarily be up to much good. Let's say if you look a little bit shady, they may take this position to say, I'm the boss, you have to be scared of me, I'm bigger than you, and I am flaring up like a snake, okay? Now let's talk about the hands. So with men, the thumbs tend to be frontal, making a V down to the genital area. It's a genital display, okay? The legs may be open, taking up more space with a wider stance. Why not? Because it's a territorial display. If the top is already taking up more space, the legs may as well join in, so that may be a case. When it comes to women, the thumbs may be behind. Still a genital display, but pointing to their rear end and highlighting that, okay? Rather so. Alright. So in a way, it could also be deemed peacocking when it comes to a woman, at least, dependent on where the thumbs are based, alright? Now, when it comes to the fingers, if the fingers are behind, when it comes to a woman in particular, it showcases more of an inquisitive sort of approach to things than an authoritarian approach. All right, the chest is out, the stance is broad, the arms are out. That's realistically the best overview I can give for this position. We're going to go into a lot more depth in due time, but you will see this position. If you do see this position, I wouldn't take it too serious if you feel that the context and the environment doesn't provoke such a response, as the individual might purely think that they are, you know, they might be feeling good and feeling that they have a right to expand, all right, and have a right to showcase themselves in such a manner. As I said, they're not frightened and defensive. They're actually very open. It's an open body language, so it's better than a closed body language, okay? And when it comes to a woman, it may be a case of them showcasing what they have, bringing the breasts out into display and using the thumbs to highlight the genital region, such as a man trying to showcase his genitals to a woman. And to a man, you know, it'd be seemed more aggressive if it was to a man to look bigger and to expose themselves to a man to say, I am, you know, masculine and dominant, as opposed to a woman where it may be deemed as a way of kind of showing off, you know. I'm bigger and I'm dominant and you're submissive, and I'm showing how, you know, virile I am, and, you know, bow down to me. It can be deemed as that in a biological sort of hardwired way, all right? But generally speaking, it's a territorial position, it's a dominant position, it's expansive, and it's very open. So hopefully you've learned something from this lesson. There are numerous variations and factors to take into consideration when approaching this behaviour, all right? So really do pinpoint the context, the words that are coming from the individual and the environment, all right, to ensure you haven't stepped on any toes. Feel free to click subscribe. See you later. Goodbye.